I welcome everyone to my channel. And again, stories from life. A novel that will change your life. Martha Shields' right pointing arrow, hope for happiness. Jake smiled widely. What surprised you so much? When necessary, I can perfectly fry myself meat and potatoes. It's just that you have a servant who only rubs your back in the bathroom. Mrs. Sanchez hasn't even let me wash my laundry since we got married. Jake shrugged. That's what the money is for, and the Sanchez are happy with their jobs. But when I come here, I become an ordinary person. So you're going to cook dinner for us tonight? Claire asked playfully. What, you don't know how to cook? The only thing I can do flawlessly is chocolate chip cookies. I usually bake myself a whole meal when I feel sad and sorry for myself. I can take it as a good sign that you have never baked these cookies since our marriage. He wrapped his arms around her waist and pulled her towards him. You know, let me make dinner and you make dessert. Do you have everything for cookies? Yes. My nephews are waiting for this delicacy. She smiled and hugged her husband. Don't tell Alex you had to peel potatoes. There is no end in sight to these jokes in our family. But to be honest, it's just great that I didn't have to spend an hour in the store buying all the groceries on Alex's list. See, sometimes it's nice to have someone to do your dirty work for you. Jake kissed Claire on the forehead. Let's go for a ride. Claire looked up at him in surprise. I thought we should prepare the house. He smiled. Merry wrinkles appeared around his eyes. Yes, everything is ready. We just have to unpack things, and this can be done perfectly in the evening. You've been working too hard the last few days. And I wanted you to get some rest and relax before tomorrow. His lips softly touched hers. I also wanted to be alone with you. Without any computers. Claire frowned. I could spend this time at work. I'm not yet, no. I'm not working this weekend, and neither are you. After all, your relatives come to us, remember? Claire sighed. You are right, and I just love horseback riding. This is what I miss the most in the city. Jake kissed her again. Then let's go. I have an excellent red filly for you. Claire ran the brush over Scarlett's tawny smooth coat. Some horse riders wince at the mention of cleaning a horse and prefer not to get their hands dirty. Claire never avoided menial work. In addition, riding gave her such pleasure that it was possible to work a little to thank the horse. As if reading her thoughts, Scarlett turned her velvety muzzle and poked Claire's arm. Laughing, Claire stroked her nose. Do you like it? A few minutes later, Claire heard a sharp exclamation. Mrs. Anderson, why are you ruining your hands? I'll cut Cody's ears off for letting you. No, Ray. It's not his fault, Claire reassured him. I asked him to leave. I have been cleaning horses since childhood. The steward glanced approvingly at her, then watched as she cleaned the filly. You seem to know how to handle horses. Claire smiled back. I grew up on a ranch. And I learned to ride before I could walk. Ray leaned against the stable door and pushed his hat back on his head. Yes, the ways of the Lord are inscrutable, the right word. What do you mean? My landlady and I have been thinking for a long time that what Jake needs most is a good wife. That is, one that is suitable for a cowboy. Claire began combing Scarlett's mane to hide her displeasure. Although Jake was far away, Claire lowered her voice just in case and said, Thank you, Ray. It's a compliment from you. I tell you exactly that, Mrs. Anderson. To tell the truth, I am very glad that he married you. It is immediately clear that he has not lost his scent. And then I started to get scared. His tanned face twisted into a smile. He will be happy with you. It is immediately clear that he is crazy about you, and you are from him too. So, Jake has already managed to trick the workers. Now it remains to be hoped that the same will happen with her family. She smiled. I think that's the way it is. And call me Claire, please. He nodded approvingly. Jake needed affection from childhood. How long have you known him? Yeah. Yes, I've been on this ranch ever since his mother died. It saddened me to watch old Eli Anderson turn his back on his son when Mrs. Molly was gone. Claire froze, brush in hand. That is, Mr. Eli was not a gift anyway. And after the death of his wife he became just like a stone. And he treated his son the hardest of all. Even when he saw that the workers were affectionate towards him, he immediately attacked him with abuse. Claire's heart sank. But why? God alone knows. Mrs. Molly died when Jake was 3 years old. She fell ill with pneumonia and did not rise anymore. Mr. Ely, after her death, moved a little in his mind. He removed all her portraits and never even mentioned her name aloud, as if he didn't want to be reminded of her. And Jake constantly reminded him of her by his existence, Claire concluded sadly. That's it. Ray coughed. Well, it's all over now. Now he has you. Maybe now he will spend more time on the ranch. Claire tried to swallow the lump in her throat, but to no avail. Poor Jake. How could his father do this to him? Only now did she realize what it was. Jake didn't believe in love because he simply didn't know what it was. Since his mother died, no one has loved him. He was deprived of that selfless, sincere, pure love of parents, or children. No wonder he was so delighted to meet a woman who needed a child. He wanted to be a father to his child like his father had never been. Claire ran her hand over her stomach. Maybe very soon he will be able to fulfill his dream. She was 99% sure she was pregnant. She is 3 days late, which has never happened before. As if hearing what was being said about him, Jake appeared at the entrance. Are you finished? I want to try chocolate chip cookies soon. Claire walked over and hugged her husband. Tears filled her eyes, tears of pain for the little lonely boy and the happiness that soon awaited them. Jake held her close. What's happened? Didn't you buy something? Claire just shook her head. She couldn't speak, tears choked her throat. God help her. Now, more than ever, Claire needs help, because she needs to teach love to a person who does not know what it is. Does she know enough to teach him? Is it possible? He is already 32, and he is used to living his own way. What if their son, whom she may already carry under her heart, will not help Jake change? What if Jake never learns to love? The passion of their honeymoon will quickly fade. What will happen to them then? What if Jake just removes her from his life, like his father removed the memories of his mother? What if he tries to take the baby away from her? Are you okay, my angel? Jake whispered in her ear. Yes, Claire breathed. Now I'll finish everything. He must have noticed something was wrong, because he looked at Ray suspiciously. What happened here, Ray? The manager pushed past Jake towards the exit. Nothing special. So what's up? Jake asked when Ray left. Nothing special. So what's up? Jake asked when Ray left. Claire continued to clean the horse. He just filled in the gaps in my knowledge of the ranch. What are the other gaps? Well, just telling me different family stories. Listen, what kind of nuts should I put in cookies? Claire didn't know if her ploy had worked or not, but Jake only answered her question and then helped clean the horse. For the first time ever, Claire accepted his help without protest. Jake tried so hard to help her in everything, even the little things, ever since they got married, and she, instead of accepting and appreciating his help, only pushed him away. Just like Jake's father once pushed him away. It's time to stop this. And not just pretend that they love each other, but really love. And for starters, you need to fully open up and learn to trust each other. If she wants to teach Jake about love, she needs to change herself a little. If only she could do it. Chapter 8. Things seem to be gone, Hank announced, following Jake into the living room. All the bags have already been taken to the rooms. Claire's gaze flickered to her husband's tense face. From the moment Jake and Hank saw each other at the airport, they held themselves like two bears before a fight. Fine, Alex stood with her sleeping daughter in her arms. I'm going to put Sarah to bed. 3 pairs of eyes followed her out. Then Jake asked, "Where are the boys?" "I let them stay outside to play." Claire got up. "Maybe call them for a bite to eat?" Hank, won't refuse either, I think. Anything to keep him busy." Hank smiled. "Did you cook?" "Very funny." "No, I did not cook the milk, but my cookies." "An excellent," Jake added hastily, keeping a wary eye on Hank. "Okay then. You go and feed the boys. And we need to talk about something." Hank turned to Jake. "Is there an office here?" Jake smiled. "Follow me." Hey. Wait a minute." Claire grabbed Jake's sleeve. "What are you going to talk about?" "About why the hell you were in such a hurry to get married that he didn't even bother to invite your family," Hank replied. Claire glared at her brother. "Look, there's no point in stabbing here because of me. I will go with you. And that's it." Hank squared his broad shoulders and put his hands on his hips. "Claire, all the questions that concern me concern Claire." Jake put his hand on her back. "Let's go, my angel." He turned and followed her down the corridor. Hank followed him in and cast a critical glance around the office. Of course, he immediately realized that this was not an office. There wasn't even a computer here. The ranch office was half a mile away, in the manager's house. Jake had explained to Claire yesterday that all he had to do was put a computer in here and he would even have to run pony business at the ranch. And he didn't want that. "Speak," Jake broke the tense silence. Hank crossed his arms over his chest. Usually a potential son-in-law is asked how he is going to provide for his wife. But I can already see that you won't have any problems with that. By the way, you have a nice plane. "Thank you," Jake snapped. "So that leaves one question. Is she pregnant?" Claire looked at her brother with undisguised annoyance. "I think I already told Alex that we didn't get married because of this. And I know that she gave you everything." Hank didn't even look at her. "I want to hear it from your husband," Jake said simply. "Not yet." Hank's face brightened slightly. To be continued. If you liked the video, subscribe to my channel and press the bell to nothing don't miss.